Welcome, Capricorn, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 29th of June for the Ascendant, the Sun, or the Moon. Going to share with you the big themes of the week ahead first. On screen, then your event chart, unpack that, always influential. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what's upcoming in terms of energy, work, relationships, or finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. As we come into this week, Mars, the planet of action, has moved into a part of your chart to do with your core physical energy for the next 6 weeks. It's really exciting. It can give you a real boost in terms of your stamina. But we also have Mercury going retrograde on Monday in your sector of relating. On the same day, we have the full moon in Capricorn. What do those two events mean for you as we go into July? And then on Tuesday, Jupiter, the planet of fortune, makes its way into the sign of Leo for the first time since 2015. On the screen now, Capricorn, is your event chart. So let's look at the sun and the moon to begin with. There's the sun at 7 degrees and 15. The moon starts today just in Sagittarius, but the full moon forges later on Monday. Now, the key is, in a technical sense, the moon in Capricorn is said to be in detriment because it's facing the sign it rules. So for you at the moment, relationships are very much under the astral microscope because of the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter for the last 13 months, all being in that sector of relating. So the moon in your zodiac sign could see you pushing back a little bit if you're not happy with the status quo around any kind of connection. Doesn't just have to be a romantic one. But clearly, with Mercury going retrograde, it's important to make sure that if we're getting into a conversation, Mercury, or a discussion, or we're thinking about a connection with someone else, that we're clear about what our thinking is. And that can be more challenging to achieve with Mercury in Cancer because Mercury likes coolness, detachment, and being rational, whereas the sign of Cancer, ruled by the moon, is much more emotional and can therefore be somewhat, if subconsciously, a little bit subjective. What we also have on that full moon, however, is that Neptune, the planet of dreams, which is going to be in your fourth house for many years to come, along currently with your ruler Saturn, is in a T square with the position of the full moon. So I think it may be difficult if there is some kind of lack of clarity or some tension around a certain relationship. It may be difficult in the first 2 weeks of July to really cut through some of the confusion that Neptune can create. Strangely, your ruler Saturn in the same area forges a very constructive link at the start of this week with Venus, the planet of money, and of course relating. So if there is someone that you feel things are clear, you do listen to each other, you absolutely understand where each of you is coming from, you can overcome those challenges. Now, I mentioned to you about Mars improving your physical vitality, and it can give you a much greater desire to be active, and the sign of Gemini makes it very difficult to sit still, particularly as it comes immediately into a conjunction with Uranus. But this sixth house is not just about moving around more, perhaps being a little bit more aware of how we get exercise, or perhaps even how we get rest. It can also be about our work. And I think Mars and Uranus in that sixth house would be terrific if there is any physical labor in what you do, because it's a combination that will give you a desire to take on challenges and really attack them in a very robust way. But if you do a job that's a bit more cerebral, or a job that's more to do with the service sector, and you don't feel there's much challenge in it, it wouldn't be a complete surprise if you started to think about earning your living in a different way. And with Jupiter moving on Tuesday into Leo, Jupiter in Leo can be very self-confident, can be very driven. The fire energy, which is fed by the oxygen of the two players in Gemini, linking to Jupiter. So I feel that if you do want to do something that's much more mentally challenging, but also could give you a financial return, it may be an appropriate time to start thinking about shifting and changing what you do to earn a living, particularly as Pluto, the planet of transformation, is linking so productively to these two. So the concept of change is really speaking quite strongly this week to your chart. Now, of course, for the last 18 months, the nodal axis has been working its way through Pisces, the North Node, and Virgo, the South. And if you like, Mars is like an agent provocateur to those two. It's really pushing back on some of the ideas and ways you've approached things during that time. And it could make you quite impatient and quite impulsive. As far as relationships are concerned of a romantic kind, Chiron in the fifth house, like I've been mentioning to you over the last week or two, it's really about healing any part of you that doesn't feel you have the right to have joy or fun, or to let yourself go a little bit and be more frivolous. And because Chiron is in a square to Jupiter as we begin this week, if there is a part of you that is a bit inhibited, maybe Jupiter moving into the eighth house, Jupiter about opportunities, the eighth house can be about being up close and personal, could be a good portent for you, not just this week, but over the next 13 months too. I'm going to summarize those four areas of vitality, work, relationships, and finances next, Capricorn. But just to say, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports. For many years, it's been buy two, get 30% off. I've reduced them to buy one and get three for the price of one. Please see below for more, but you get your life roadmap report, your 12 months transit, but intriguingly, your draconic analysis too. If you've yet to watch your July monthly forecast or your Leo into Jupiter 13-month forecast, if you click on the eye on the screen, it will take you through to those videos on the end screens. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute honor. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to sign up for your free daily horoscope, fired to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, then please sign that too. So to summarize, energy in a raw sense, I think can be really strong. The only thing that really can affect your energy is Neptune. If there's something going on around a relationship, which is really getting you down a little bit, if you feel someone's not being very upfront, very clear, transparent, playing games, being elusive, evasive, not answering text messages, that could lower your spirits and your energies. But if things are generally pretty good in terms of your emotional world, I think there's lots to enjoy with the combination of Mars and Uranus, which kind of encourage you really to be much less sedentary, if that is something that you can occasionally be, and leap off the sofa and really become a celestial Olympian by the end of the week and when I report through with the next set of weeklies. But seriously, I feel that Mars and Uranus could give you that kind of spark. But what they can do is also give you a push to change a job you're not enjoying, or if you work for yourself, use your very industrious, very, very industrious energies, but in a fresh and imaginative way. Relationships, it just depends on what's going on in your unique situation. Jupiter may have given you some opportunities over the last 12 months, 13 months. It may not have done. But Jupiter moving into the eighth house suggests if you have been lucky enough to forge a contact with someone that's going well, it could get deeper. If you're in a relationship which is steady edit at the moment, Venus and Saturn is delicious. You could be talking about property together. And in terms of neat finance, well, obviously the sign of Capricorn when the moon is can be very much to do, your sign, very much to do with being pragmatic about resources. But for you, you've got Pluto there. Some kind of transformations going on. If you can use the energy, particularly of Jupiter going into the eighth house being opposite Pluto, I think that's a chance to be very driven. If you want to improve your lot, you surely will. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Capricorn. Have a great week. All the best and see you again soon.